Good morning! Besides me, who's doing a little frustrated this morning because all the sound went out on my computer, so there's no sound for me, so I can't hear anything. Let me see who I am saying good morning to in the chat. Let me see. I have an A-hair duelist, a doubting Tommy, a stargazer, welcome, a reality check, a fuckwad, Mitch the Ripper, and a Jason Brazeal. Yep, you did. I started playing a little bit of music, and then I did start doing the waiting room, so it's about 6 minutes, so everybody has a chance to get in here, more or less on time. I usually don't like more than 3 minutes, but 6 minutes seems to be working out right, because I have plenty of people in the chat to share my coffee with. So how is everybody doing on this wonderful Wednesday morning? Yep, you can hear me. Cool. Well, at least that's still working, because I am deaf as shit. Yep. You woke up too early, huh? Oh my gosh. Okay, let me see if I can get my stories up here. So I even restarted my whole computer to see if it would help, and apparently it did not help. So there's always that, which is a lot of fun. Let's see here. Alright, all that's muted, so that... Okay, so, let me see. What's been going on? Yesterday, nothing too eventful went on. I actually got all my stuff. Because you didn't sleep. Wow. Yeah, I don't have any secret reality check. None whatsoever. So, I gotta go get some when we get paid. What is the sleep you speak of? Well, I get some. You know, every night. Well, sometimes. Morning, numbskull. How are you? So yeah, nothing too much eventful happened yesterday, so we're going to take a look and talk to the chat. Yeah, we have a total of 53 cents in the PayPal to last us till Friday. To say we're running low on things would be pretty Murphy's Law-ish, because, you know, when you start running out of money, you generally run out of everything else. So that's the way it's going, I guess. Let me see here. So yesterday in Twitter news, a fellow content creator by the name of Paddy Politics, otherwise known as Young Black Con, short for conservative, was permanently suspended from Twitter yesterday. The reason that Jeff was tweeting out was something about malicious intent, or her posting harsh things or threatening people or something. This is Paddy Politics. I mean, good morning and welcome to my live chat, Jessica H. How are you doing this morning? So, without further ado, let's hop into this, so I won't make anybody late for the, you know, next thing that's coming up behind me, which I will, you know, introduce. So, let's go. Alright, so first on the leaderboard in terms of stories this morning, I'm gonna pop this up here so you guys can... What the hell is going on with my Evernote now? The fuck is that shit? There we go. Like I needed any more bloopers this morning. Alright, here we go. Digital court weighs major digital privacy case. So, what we've got here... Let me see how many. Court sees digital privacy case. Today, the United States Supreme Court will face a test of privacy rights in the digital age. It must decide whether or not police have to acquire warrants to obtain data on past locations of suspects by using cell phone data from providers like Verizon, Sprint, and others. They were scheduled to hear an appeal at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time of Timothy Carpenter. I'm trying to make sure I don't scroll this up too far. Someone convicted of a series of armed robberies that occurred in Ohio and Michigan with the aid of cell phone location data linking him to the robbery locations. The ACLU argues doing this was an illegal search and seizure under the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Good morning, Rhetorical. Law enforcement often requests this information from providers in order to try and place the suspect at the crime scene. This has raised questions as to the limits, if any, of cell phone providers in protecting customers' privacy rights. AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, and Sprint get tens of thousands of these requests per year from law enforcement. The Supreme Court has already ruled twice in past years on major cases on the way criminal law applies to the new technology, both incidents ruling against law enforcement. The ACLU contends that police need probable cause, and thus a warrant before the location information should be released in order to meet the Fourth Amendment provisions. So that is our first story today. And yeah, to me, a cell phone is private property. Okay, so it shouldn't be up to the cell phone provider to provide the information in an investigation. Because the cell phone is yours. What you do with it is your business after you purchase it, and you're paying the monthly cell phone fees to keep it open so you can call and text and, have fun with your friends or whatever. So, yeah, to me, you would need a probable cause and then a search warrant in order to turn over your phone to be able to crack that phone to track the GPS tags in there to see where you've been, where your history is, where you've checked in at. Because in this day of digital information, you have two types of people. You have the smart criminal and you have the dumb criminal. And the dumb criminal, well, let's just say it's not far off the mark for them to check in on Foursquare when they're about to do something they're not supposed to do. I believe they found old Timothy according to ping locations from his cell phone to nearby towers. So I think that's how they found him. So what do you guys think in the chat? Do you guys think that probable cause and search warrants should be mandatory for this type of area of investigation in our technical era? Or do you think this would be going a little bit too far? And that the location should be, the police should be able to go to the cell phone company and go, look, I need to know where this person's been. Can you crack this phone for me? I would like to hear your thoughts on that. Everybody's either thinking. I keep forgetting there's like a 30-second delay. Oh my god, I can actually hear something. Okay. Probable cause and search warrants are already required by law. Of course, but since when do the cops do anything with a warrant first? If the data is on the phone, it's private. I completely agree. Mitch the Ripper, via the Fourth Amendment. Jason Brazeal, sometimes the ACLU is correct. Who knew? I know, right? Sometimes they fight against shit and you want to look at them and go, what is your problem? What are you smoking? This is just not right. 15 minutes. So, yeah. I mean, I tend to agree with that because let's face it. As far as I'm concerned, and I don't know if you guys will agree with this or not, the ACLU hasn't had a very good track record for this kind of thing. So to me, it's just absolutely horrendous as to what's going on. Whenever they take on a case, I cringe because it's like, okay, I can't agree with this because sometimes I think you go a little too far with this. So there's always that particular concern that I have in terms of the ACLU. Okay, now I've got all those. Yay! All right, so let me see what else everybody's got to say. Sorry, I was busy. Yeah, I agree with needing a warrant. Okay, Neil, would depend on how they get the location. Cell tower pings are at the discretion of the phone service provider as to if they want a warrant or not. If it's on the phone itself, it's up to the owner. That's a good way of splitting it. Good morning, Jacob. Grab a cup of coffee and slide on in a seat. Make yourself comfortable. Welcome to the morning brew. Morning, Hunley. My Streamlabs isn't working. Ah, Jesus Christ. Okay. There's a lot of shit not working for me this morning. Okay, let me see if I can get it working here. Log in with YouTube. That said, check your PayPal. Alright, I will in just a moment. I love chocolate milk, not coffee. Then grab a chocolate milk, sit down, and enjoy the show. I am not discriminatory as to people's preferences. I, however, can't do the words thing and the other thing and the many things without coffee. That's just me. That is just me. Let me see here. Alright, let's see. I will have to update Nightbot, but I am going to go ahead and update the description here. And this morning is going to be a little disjointed because there is a lot of problems. Alright, here we go. Bink, bank. Alright, that should do it. And now I hit this. I hit all and copy. And then I come over here, edit video. Okay. Save changes, and yeah, I talked to myself to make sure that I am not screwing up somewhere. Okay, so the Streamlabs link should now be in the description in my shameless shilling section. We have a QM&G. Welcome to my live chat. I believe this is the first time I have seen you in my live chat. The service provider should not be allowed to obtain your private data for monetary gain either. Of course, they have you sign that right away in the contract, but it is unconstitutional regardless. Jason Todd, good morning. The fog rolls in and an undead robin appears in the night. Sounds like somebody is practicing his RPG descriptions. Let me see here. Let me copy this. Let me go to Nightbot. Let me see here. Log in. So yeah, I mean, I agree with I agree with everybody in the chat. It should be an issue of a search warrant before anything like that happens. So yeah, I mean, there's got to be due process, and for that to happen, you have to have a search warrant. And before the search warrant happens, you have to have probable cause. Without probable cause, you're just allowed to go in everywhere and do anything you want, even though there are things called no-knock warrants in special cases, depending on that particular case. So, alright, let's go on to in a 2 line blurb. Alright, so the Streamlabs should be fixed. I'm just plain dead. Victoria in Australia says yes to euthanasia. The vote which passed today legalizes the patient's rights. Yeah. See, I wasn't all that awake. The patient's right to request a lethal drug and assisted death starting June of 2019. It was passed after 100 hours of debate. So they have a euthanasia law in Australia now, which is rather interesting. QM&G, let's just say that it is in the powers that be interest that these issues do not go in front of the Supreme Court. Yes, but they are going in front of the Supreme Court. As a matter of fact, they were supposed to rule on it, or at least start ruling over it at 10 o'clock this morning, Eastern Standard Time. So, if an update comes through during the show, I will be reading the latest update on that. If not, I will probably tweet it out to keep you guys updated on that particular ruling, because we need to be kept up to speed on that to make sure if the if the Supreme Court is actually doing its job. Facing tax vote in Senate, Trump seizes on cultural fights. Not really. I didn't particularly like that headline, so as usual, I made my own. Trump ridiculed for tweets while facing tax vote. This is how Trump tweeted his outlook on the upcoming vote on taxes. He sounds optimistic. However, over the last 48 hours, his tweets turned to other matters which sent the press into a fit. They said he tweeted about the Pocahontas incident. I couldn't find a tweet on that. Maddy, the new Shadow comic is full SJW. Oh, nah. Focus on NFL and players kneeling again. So on November 28th, he said at least 24 players kneeling this weekend at NFL stadiums that are now having a very hard time filling up. The American public is fed up with the disrespect. The NFL is paying to our country, our flag, and our national anthem. Weak and out of control. his ongoing disdain for MSM. We should have a contest as to which of the networks plus CNN and not including Fox is the most dishonest, corrupt, and or distorted in its political coverage of your favorite president, me. They are all bad. Winner to receive the fake news trophy. Hey, Benny, good morning. Welcome to my live chat. Pull up a seat and your favorite source of caffeine. Yep. See, what he said... Okay, the fact that he leaves out Fox News is telling, because Donald Trump likes his stuff. You can always tell who he likes and who he doesn't like. And he definitely liked Fox News. I would sort of, on many occasions, lump Fox News in with the other people, because let me put it to you this way. Yes, he does, and I agree with that, Rhetorical. He needs to include Fox News, because to me, Fox News has become more commentary and less news. And when they do report the news, you can really hear the slant. Just like they just slant to the right. Democrats who are weak on, quote-unquote, weak on crime. The last thing we need in Alabama and the U.S. Senate is a Schumer-Pelosi puppet who is weak on crime, weak on the border, bad for our military and our great vets, bad for our Second Amendment, and wants to raise taxes, oh good Lord, to the sky. Jones would be a disaster. Meeting with Chuck and Nancy today about keeping government open and working. Problem is they want illegal immigrants flooding into our country unchecked, are weak on crime, and want to substantially raise taxes. I don't see a deal. Morning, the Nuggets. With December deadlines coming up fast, the MSM are claiming he is taking the opportunity to show he can hold a grudge. Morning, G. Bonnert. This comes after a ceremony honoring Native Americans, in which Trump jokingly called Senator Warren Pocahontas. He has been tweeting about the NFL on and off since the kneeling started, and keeps calling out Pelosi and Schumer. Let me make this a little bigger so you guys can see it. Blip! There we go. Let me see. And keeps calling out Pelosi and Schumer. Now I lost my place because I kept scrolling up and down. On their want to hike taxes, back up law enforcement, or even support the military and strengthen our borders. As shown above, hours before the meeting about the tax plan with Schumer and Pelosi was to take place, he tweeted he did not see a deal. This prompted Pelosi and Schumer to back out of the meeting, causing President Trump to have empty seats on either side of him. Just because he says he doesn't see a deal. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Here we go. Just because he says he doesn't see a deal, all right, doesn't mean he's not willing to broach one, in my opinion. Because he is a deal maker. And what kind of deal maker would you be if, you didn't see a deal, but you worked to make one? And to me, I think that's what he's trying to do. Yeah, NFL kneeling BS. They're always going to bring that up because he's always going to comment about it. M&G. Oh, that's an Omega symbol. Okay, I need to wake up a little bit more. A hair duelist. When it comes politically expedient to obfuscate the facts, they'll be happy to pivot lying just as bad as the rest of the scummy news organizations. Yeah, I agree. Yes, Omega, they are protesting the wrong things as usual. And it isn't nothing but they are going to keep bringing this up because he keeps tweeting about it. Should his, a lot of people would probably say, should his tweets be presidential? Well, it's his Twitter. And in my opinion, if he wants his tweets to be layman's tweets to appeal to the masses, which is what he's doing here, he's keeping his base happy. Not by saying what they want to hear, but saying what's on his mind, which is refreshing when it comes to politics. Because we all know when it comes to politicians, BS doesn't stand for Bachelor of Science, stands for bullshit degree. At least in my opinion, it stands for bullshit degree because that's all they ever hand you. Oh yes, we'll do this, and this, and this, and this. And when it comes to actually doing A, B, and C, they might half-heartedly think about A, they may talk about B, but they never get around to C. Rhetorical. Ben Shapiro said this news cycle should be amazing for Trump if he can have some self-control. Trump doesn't have any. He's impulsive. You can tell by his tweets. He's a very impulsive individual. He doesn't have a logic filter in the respect that he needs to think before he speaks. Because he doesn't. You can tell in his tweets. You can really tell in his tweets. G. Bronner. Trump could come up with a cure for cancer and they will still complain. I agree. I completely agree. Morning, Ghost Dog. Pull up your favorite caffeine and comfy seat. Welcome to the show. Alright, so that is it for that one. And now we have FERC sued for unconstitutional granting of pipeline certifications. Now, every time there's alphabet soup coming out of the government, and that's what I like to call it because they love to deal with abbreviations, I will write it out in the article. That way you guys eventually know what all these things mean. And it says, in a series of challenges to natural gas pipelines, the New Jersey Conservation Foundation is suing the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. They are bringing forth accusations to the agency of letting the seizure of private land in the U.S. court. What the fuck? I wrote a sentence that didn't make any sense. They are bringing forth accusations to the agency of letting the seizure of private land happen. According to... Okay, in the U.S. District Court in Trenton. This is the latest legal problem, which involves the 120-mile PennEast Pipeline spanning 2 states and crossing the Delaware. The project, which cost $1 billion, has faced resistance in both New Jersey and Pennsylvania. The pushback includes property owners to let PennEast Pipeline LLC lay the line on their property. This has prevented PennEast from submitting crucial permits to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. These necessary permits would give eminent domain rights over those properties. This is the first of its kind complaint. The plaintiffs are arguing that federal agency is illegally letting companies take private property through eminent domain for the construction. Our aim is to motivate, quote, our aim is to motivate the FERC to amend its policies so the agency ceases its unconstitutional practice of granting certificates for pipelines that are not in the public interest. This will end the unjust seizing of public and private land, said Susan J. Craham, senior staff attorney at Columbia Environmental Law Clinic. Let's see. Omega. He is a narcissist billionaire. What do you expect? But at least he cares about the country, unlike the rest of these sellouts. Exactly. I'm willing to overlook the fact that he's a narcissist because he's really trying. He's just facing a lot of opposition from Congress. Which, if you weren't surprised about that, you should be. You really shouldn't be surprised of all the pushback because the person in office is not the person they wanted. Morning, Olenska. Welcome to the Morning Brew. Pull up your favorite brew and your most comfy chair. Let's see here. Eminent domain, for those of you that do not know, is the power of the government to take private property and convert it into public use. The Fifth Amendment provides that the government may only exercise this power if they provide just compensation to the property owners. See, for example, Loretto versus Teleprompter Manhattan CATV Corporation 458 US 419, and in parentheses, this came out in 1982. So that was a precedent that set eminent domain and gave 20 million people headaches all over the United States from then on. Rhetorical. I hate eminent domain. It's basically private companies asking the federal government to violate the Fourth. Yes, I agree. Eminent domain should not be a thing. It should not be a thing at all. Let me see. I was asked to check my PayPal. Thank you for the donations. Thank you, A-Hair Duelist. And thank you... Oh, thank you, Reality Check. Because I always scroll down to make sure, because I don't like doxing people. So if you ever send me donations or little legs up and you don't include your screen name, I will say thank you, person who I do not wish to dox. Which some people think is funny. And, I think some people just roll their eyes at that. But that's the way I am. Let me see. My mom, when she worked in real estate, there was this weird law in Georgia, I think it's all over the United States, to where if you live close enough to an airport, you can sell the air above your home. Meaning, if you sell this airspace above your home, they come They soundproof your home so you don't hear the airplanes flying overhead. But the catch is, once you sell the airspace above your home, you cannot build onto your home in a vertical direction, because that space above your home no longer belongs to you. Weird, huh? Hey, here, duelist. I agree with ED in principle because sometimes government needs the space to build things for public interest. Yes, but when do you draw the line? Bye, Jacob. I think he starts his 10 minutes of music now, 10 or 15. I agree, but how much do you do for the public interest without infringing on private property? When do you draw the line and say, no, you cannot have my backyard for X? You cannot use this much of my farming property for X. If I was going to sell the airspace over my home, I'd only sell above a certain altitude. Yeah. I mean, if you're willing to trade, the airspace over your home so you don't hear, airplanes fly overhead, then that is your discretion. That is your right. Kumite is starting an hour late today. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to change that in the description. Alrighty. That is covered by the 4th and 5th Amendments. ED equals from everyone according to his ability to everyone according to his need. Yeah. And that's the one thing I hate about legalese is the sorting through it and making, have it make sense for the layman people. Because it isn't just a case that you have to go through. It's the case, and then sorting through the case, and sorting through the bullshit, and having a dictionary and a thesaurus handy. A hair duelist. Delicate balance to maintain, but if it's reasonable, like needing a wall on the Mexico border, for example, well, that's one example. But eminent domain, since its inception, has had cases where it has been abused, where people have been displaced due to eminent domain. And that's when I believe the government crosses a line. If you are shoving people out of their homes in order to use a particular spot of land because you believe it serves the public interest, that's when you have crossed the line. G. Bronner, the Cliven Bundy situation. The Cliven Bundy situation, I call a mess. Because there's grandfather clauses involved, eminent domain involved, protected wildlife involved. There are so many things in that situation that need to be separated and looked at before the situation is looked at as a whole, that there isn't a simple solution for that particular situation in my opinion. Right here, duelist. If they were just seizing it, that's true, but they're being compensated. I think homes should be provided by state. I should too. They should provide another home if the person seizes their home. I completely agree. Omega shouldn't be shoving out of homes, but buying them out with double its worth in compensation. Well, see, that's the problem. They don't. They charge, if I remember correctly, what did my mom say when she was in real estate many, many moons ago? They charge the assessed price for the house, which could either be market price or below market price, depending on the houses surrounding it. Because you need, I used to know the name of the person that would come in and assess your house. Buy you some more coffee. Thank you, Ghost Dog. $4 for super chat. Here, MWM, buy you some more coffee. Shaking your shit. Yeah. When you assess, and I know assess isn't the right word, but I'm using it here. When you appraise, that's the word, appraise. When an appraiser comes to appraise the value of a home, he not only takes that home and looks at it and assesses it. Yep, I remembered it. Haha, I got my brain in gear. Took a while. I think it was stuck in neutral. He looks at your house proper, and he looks at comparable houses, 2 minimum, in your neighborhood. However, if those two houses in your neighborhood are below market cost, then the house is not going to be appraised for what it's worth. And you're not going to get your money's worth out of it if eminent domain pays for your house, leaving you struggling to find a house that was more or less the same size for less money. And in this economy where everything goes up but the paycheck, good luck with that. Jessica H. The problem with those pipelines is that they take what they want. They don't always negotiate location. A lot of farms are affected because they'll put these things in the middle of growing area. Yeah, they don't pay attention to that. There's a lot of things they don't care about because they're trying to be expedient in order to save money. Olenska, here's the question. Will the government let me hire my own appraiser? I can't remember. I think ED should pay you $125 of actual market value. Yeah, they should. That doesn't mean they do. Yeah, compensation is tough to come by because I don't trust the one they would use. I can't remember. I would have to ask my mom. She's been out of real estate for many years, but I'm sure there are some rules that have not changed. But I think you may be able to hire your own appraiser. I think. If not, you are pretty much stuck with the government property appraiser. And yeah, being the government, they are going to try and, give you as little as possible for your home. But they also have to, it could be granted that just compensation include a bother fee. Yeah, exactly. Lenska, never buy the most expensive home in a neighborhood, folks. No, well, there are several ways. Oh, this would be a whole live stream in and of itself. How to be smart with real estate. I'm going off on a tangent. Let's go to the recommended views.
Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
Alright, so as I come down here for recommended videos, the first one, I can't call him a guilty pleasure because I'm not the only one that likes him. Nerdwriter actually has a video called How to Design a Comic Book Page, and he goes into the mouse comic book series, and he describes how the story is developed, and he breaks it down from panel to panel, talking about what's going on in the comic book and how the comic book was formatted. And then he talks about how someone says that he broke it down wrong because everything should be taken in by the page because the page sets the scene. This is a very interesting video to watch for anybody that likes comic books. And Nerdwriter is a very good channel to subscribe to. I love listening to him. I could binge watch his videos all day long. Next one, the CG Brothers. Animated short Reach by Team Reach. The CGI Brothers has, they highlight amateur digital animators and digital art on their channel. I love watching these animated shorts because I love watching the time, love, and attention to detail a lot of these people put into their videos. So when you get a chance, please go over to the CG Brothers, watch some of them, and subscribe because I'm sure you won't be disappointed with the content that they put on their page or the artists, the digital artists that they highlight. The next one, oh shoot, we did it again. It doubled up. Okay, Wizard of Cause. No More Legends. He talks about how the digital age could actually be diminishing the ability for people to tell, like, the one that got away stories and be able to embellish their experiences, and how that may be diminishing us as a society and a culture. It's a very good introspective think on it. I found it very, very interesting, and I agreed with him on a lot of points. Let me see here. And the last video isn't showing up that way, so I'm going to have to look for it the old-fashioned way. Let me see here. Scrolling down. I have a lot of subscribers. Scrolling down. SomeBlackGuy. SomeBlackGuy does the unexamined brutality of the male libido, a response to that particular article, and I loved his response to the article. You guys need to go check that out. That was really cool to watch. yeah, that was really, really cool to watch. And we've got a lot of bloopers this morning, so please hang in there with me. She was eccentric. What'd I miss? A rising vacuum. Let me see here. I missed something. I have to scroll up. Yeah. Let's see here. Riding vacuum. Okay. Wizard of Cause talks out his ass and very... Well, this one I kind of liked his video, Jason. He made a lot of really good points. Because when you pride, the history of your family on what gets passed down through stories, when those stories actually become concrete in the form of digital video and stuff, you can embellish them. And I think the fun in the telling of a lot of these stories, like the one that got away, is the over-embellishment. I mean, they're lying about how big the fish is, but you're having fun listening to the story. Good morning, Scott. How are you doing? Alright, next one. Funny or cancer? And I had to go through this, so you guys are going to go through this too. I got to look it up in my history, seeing how, let's see here. Where am I? No, I can't find shoes that fit. Oh, well. Okay, let me see here. I'm going to have to search my history. I had to restart before the show, so now I have to do this the hard way. Alright, let me see here. Yes, you're reading that right. This morning, it's cancer. Mother calls for Sleeping Beauty to be banned from school curriculum for promoting, quote, inappropriate sexual behavior, unquote. We're going over this, and we're going over this mainly so I can see the reaction of everybody in the live chat, because it is being recorded. She's accused the fairy tale of encouraging non-consensual sexual conduct. Because, they don't have enough to bitch about, right? In the wake of the Hollywood sexual harassment scandal and the hashtag #MeToo campaign, a mother is calling for Sleeping Beauty to be banned from primary schools because she feels the story contains problematic themes of, quote, sexual behavior and consent, unquote. Give me a fucking break. Sarah Hall from Newcastle said she was disturbed by the non-consensual kissing in the fairy tale when Prince Philip wakes up the sleeping Princess Aurora with a kiss on the lips. Which lips did Prince Charming kiss? The public has a right to know. Let me see. Questioning whether the traditional story is, quote, still relevant, unquote, nowadays, the 40-year-old mother of two, you should know better! You're around my age and you're acting this stupid? Oh, God. Contacted her son Ben's primary school asking for the books featuring the fairy tale to be revoked from the younger children's classes and tweeted, quote, while we are still seeing narratives like this in school, we are never going to change the ingrained attitudes to sexual behavior, unquote. She's close to my age. Oh, that's just sad. You should know better. Doubting Tommy. Of course, in the original story, she was raped in her sleep, only woke up giving birth. Yep, we're getting to that. That's at the end. Reality check. Disney doesn't, but the original story is based on it. But schools don't teach the old Italian tale of sun, moon. Yeah, they don't do that. They don't go into the grim fairy tales. They edit things to make them seem nicer. Okay? So, yeah, I can't believe she's 40 years old. Can I just not believe that she's that stupid and 4 years younger than me? I can believe it. Oh, God. Why did somebody close to my age have to be this stupid? I bet this mom liked and retweeted the ban of To Kill a Mockingbird. Probably Alenska. Numbskull, stop teaching kids. They may learn something. Yeah, I know, Numbskull. Speaking to the Newcastle Chronicle, Sarah said, quote, I think it's a specific issue in the Sleeping Beauty story about sexual behavior and consent. It's about saying, quote, this is still relevant. Is it appropriate, unquote. It's a fucking fairy tale. Not a guide on how to rape people. Sheesh. Sarah argued that the Sleeping Beauty story should be limited to older children who are able to understand the concept of consent. So much for bedtime stories. In today's society, it isn't appropriate, she added. In today's society, she's not getting enough sex, so she's bitching about everything else in the interim. My son is only 6 years old and he absorbs everything he sees, and it isn't as if I can turn it into a constructive conversation. Nuggets, you're silly to think there aren't that many dumb people around your age. Yeah, I really should come to grips with the fact that there are some people around. I'm 44, everybody around my age, I consider they should be level-headed and know a lot better, but those that don't just make me facepalm, horribly facepalm. Because no. I don't think taking Sleeping Beauty books out of circulation completely would be right. I actually think it would be a great source for older children. You could have a conversation around it. You could talk about consent and how the princess might feel. I'm not getting any sex, so I'm going to bitch about a fairy tale that is over 100 years old. How old is Sleeping Beauty anyway? How old are the Grimm fairy tales? Holy crap, I know they're old. But I'm really concerned about it for younger children. AKA, I don't like the story and I don't want anybody else reading it. And I would really welcome a conversation about whether this is suitable material. It is. It's a fairy tale. It's fiction. Explain to your kids it's make-believe. That's not the way the real world works. And move on to the next fucking subject. While many people have openly supported Sarah's campaign, others have responded saying, I feel so sorry for the young children of today who are having adult perceptions forced on them. Thank God. Let them be children. I agree. And you know that bears don't really eat porridge, right? And here is this tweet. I think, no, it's an Instagram post. Sleeping Beauty remake, first look, #Disney. And yes, it is him about to kiss her and said, wait, this wouldn't be consensual, and her dying without that kiss that wakes her up. Reality check. She killed herself with a knife her sisters gave her to murder the prince and his bride was so she can become a daughter of the wind. Doubting Tommy. Yeah. Chit in the woods. The princess fucking lives in the child version. The original story, he actually raped Sleeping Beauty, but in this story, she's happy to have lived. Yeah, I know. This is the stupid part of all these fucking regressive people. Somehow the brain got sucked out of their goddamn head and they have lost the ability to think. And, you know, the original version of Sleeping Beauty was based on Sun, Moon, and Talia, written by an Italian poet in the 17th century. It told the sadistic story of a princess who fell into a deep sleep and is subsequently raped by a king. When the princess wakes from her slumber, she falls in love with a man who violated her and then marries him. Oh, so Stockholm Syndrome. Sort of. Maybe. By proxy or something. So, yeah, we get to the real part about this. So, yep. They do hit on that one. Let me see here. So that is the cancer for the day. Let me go back to the welcome thing so we have a little bit more. Let me see. It's not real. Grimm fairy tale in a nutshell. Everybody dies, the end. Exactly. That's why they're called Grimm fairy tales. I know they were the brothers Grimm, but I mean, none of their fairy tales worked out right. I mean, even if you look at Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid, she didn't survive. Yep, they did. I mean, The Little Mermaid didn't survive. None of these princesses or anybody that had anything to do with any of these fairy tales actually survived. You know? Heck, in the original Pied Piper, he drowns the kids in the river just like the rats. Yeah, see? So, I mean, I had this discussion, but not exactly, with my second husband's mother. When she asked me if I was going to allow Paul to read the Harry Potter books. And before you ask, yes, I lovingly nicknamed her part of the religious caste, which is, you know, a mention from Babylon 5 for those of you that don't know that particular show. But, yeah, I called her a member of the religious caste, and she asked me if I was going to allow Paul to read the Harry Potter books. And I said yes, because, you know, he can tell the difference between reality and fiction, and they're wonderful stories. And that she goes, but... And then she came back with the usual Christian response, well, they teach about witchcraft and wizardry, to which my response was, well, I have actually sat down and spoken with pagans and Wiccans alike, and the book has nothing to do with witchcraft nor wizardry. It is straight fiction. So I've got no problems with him reading it. Yeah, everything ends and it's always sad. Let's not even get into Little Red Riding Hood stories. I know, right? Doubting Tommy. In Snow White, the evil queen had hot poker shoes attached and made to dance to them. Yeah, I mean, it's all these... Yeah, Snow White. Snow White. I mean, let's face it. The fairy tales... Yeah, the grim fairy tales were rather warnings than happy stories. Exactly. But through the years, and Disney, and I like to blame Disney because they screw shit up. You know, they redact things, they rewrite things, they rework things. I remember watching the Disney movie Hercules and going, yeah, no, that's not the way that works. No, that's not how Hercules happened. No, Disney, that's not how that works. You know, it never ceases to amaze me the level of stupidity people will go through in order to do what they want to do. Alright, here's the live stream announcements. Let me see if I can actually get this thing to be a little bigger so you can see it a little better before I scroll down and announce these things. Alright, now I get to scroll. I get to find my page and scroll, yo. Okay, because I gotta scroll up. Okay, as always, between 7:30 and 8 a.m., our own Rhetorical Entertainment has his Rhetorical Sunrise. From 9 to 10 is an hour of power with a social wreck. I had to miss it this morning because I have got to redo my schedule. Ronan is at orientation, so I've got to figure out how to do breakfast and put my show together and still have time to watch the hour of power. I may have to get up at 6. Oh, God, 6. The Kumite starts at noon today. I'm going to have to change that in the description. But he always plays at least 10 minutes worth of mashups to get everybody in the live chat and warmed up and ready for the show. I've got no clue who's going against who today, so that'll be interesting to figure out. Carlos Castrejo always has Archeology and the latest on it in a very entertaining fashion. Drunken Uncle is hosting the Poo Podcast at 6 p.m. All times are Eastern Standard Time. Jason's grab a beer and some peanuts, maybe some pizza and wings, slide into your favorite seat for Jason's Pub at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what Jason's going to be up to tonight, but he's always got his pub every night at the same time. And if you head over to Ranting Monkey's channel at 9 p.m. Eastern, you'll see Ranting Monkey, Scribelight, and Some Dumb American either covering a current topic or just shooting the shit. So those are the live stream announcements for the day. If you know of any regularly scheduled live streams, you can DM me on Twitter or you can DM me on Discord if you are in my Discord. And I will put them in my newsroom and update the description that you see on your screen. Because I love to shout out other creators to help other creators out, to get the word out of regularly scheduled live streams. Because we all need a little bit of entertainment. And we seem to have a morning and evening lineup that's going really, really well. If there are any funny memes you come across or any funny any funny or dumb tweets that you want me to read in the funny or cancer section or any cancerous articles, you can DM me with those as well, either on Discord or on Twitter. All my social media links are down below. Let me see. There are many ways to support me. You guys found the Streamlabs and my tip jar. You can also go to my website and shop my handmade jewelry section. You can also place a special order for jewelry. I do everything from I'm awake in time for the show. We're about to end it, Beard Barian. I make everything from traditionally strung to chainmail jewelry. If you are one that is interested in chainmail that is other than jewelry, I can actually give you an estimate on like chainmail greaves or chainmail wrist guards or anything like that. Just give me a moment to work up the materials list and also the hours that it's going to take to make those kind of chainmail things together. However, it technically counts. Yeah, it technically counts. However, any special orders of a chainmail nature are not going to be able to be done in time to be shipped out for Christmas. So please keep that in mind. Link to my Discord, please. Okay, because Nightbot has not done it out yet, huh? Because he's supposed to be... He's trying. I think he's trying. Let me see. There's my Wix site. There's my gaming channel. Oh, come on, dude. You are behind, aren't you? Yep. You are behind. I'll just throw it in the bottom. Alright, let's see here. That Streamlabs link should work from now on. Alright. I am about to pop the link for my Discord in the thingy. And yes, that thingy is a technical term, and I will use that term, and you can laugh at the term, because I don't care. I will use the term. Let me see. Ah, there we go. Newly invited. Screening room. Alright, there we go. Invite people. Alright, there we go. Okay, here we are. Now I gotta find the live chat again. Button. Live chat. Alright, here we go. When you click, that should take you to the screening room or the newly invited category. If not, go to the newly invited category, into the screening room, and type hello, and I will promote you so you can jump in voice chat and type on other parts of the Discord, because I would love to see you there. Morning, Omegon, or afternoon, evening for you. 5 hours in the future, that's 4 p.m. Good afternoon. Omegon, how are you doing? My chat is now good and moist, therefore in IRL, as well as on my OBS, and I appreciate that. Let me see here. There are a couple of Nightbot prompts. Let me see if I can get this thing to work. Alright, let me see if Nightbot says what he's supposed to be saying when I put that in my chat. Or maybe I forgot this part. Nope! There's that one. And then there is... Because I did a couple of prompts. There are a couple of people I pick on. So, that's my little homage to Omegon. Let me see here. So, I think... that is pretty much it for the day. As you can see up here in the upper right hand corner, I have my patrons scrolling up. So if you become a patron, you will forever be, as I like to say, immortalized in the upper right hand corner of my newscast. I make wraps. Sandwiches are overrated. I make pinwheels that tend to disappear before I can have like more than 4 of them. He has all the sandwich wenches. Yes, he does, Olenska. Yes, he does. Hey, I need your help harassing Jeff Holiday on Twitter to come on the show. I will see what I can do. So. They're in the sandwich minds at the moment. If there is any news that you also want me to read, please have it in by midnight Eastern Standard Time, so when I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I can actually take a look at it and include it. Anything of cancer for the funny or cancer section, anything funny submitted, you will get full credit for submitting it to the show. If you include any social media links, those will be included as well. As content creators, we have to help each other out as much as possible. So, no, I will never stop recommending videos to watch or channels to go to subscribe to. Because I feel it is very important to back each other up and support each other when YouTube doesn't seem to be doing anything but supporting people who diddle kids. There aren't very many instances in my life where I want to reach through my computer and jack slap somebody, but that's one of the main instances when I want to do it. So, on that note, my friends, may your coffee or tea ever flow. May your caffeine be ever strong. And may you have a wonderful and wacky Wednesday. Take care, my coffee nuts.